Hello and welcome to another update video about ZILLIQA. ZILLIQA, a cryptocurrency that I haven't really had on the radar. I mean, I had it sort of on the radar, but never really covered it. In the end, you can't cover it all. And yeah, it did pump significantly here in the last couple of days. ZILLIQA made here from, actually, let's say from the low, made a nice 330% in just a few, well, okay, in 1 to 2 weeks, yeah. But especially here the last couple of days were characterized by a very significant pump. And ZILLIQA, a crypto that I covered today in the membership live stream, and I thought I'll round it off by publishing a video as well about ZILLIQA. And because there have been a lot of requests by you guys about ZILLIQA, doing a TA on ZILLIQA, and really talking a little bit about what happened here. In my opinion, what happened here are two things. First of all, we had the requirements in the chart that such a pump could happen. You know how I view the market generally, and in my opinion, what we have here, we reached that area between the 88.7% FIB level and the 78.6% FIB level. So basically between 3.1 cent and 5.7 cents. This is the area where I told you across the market for altcoins that this is typically where I expect altcoins to turn around. And in my opinion, it's not a coincidence that we have seen this pump after it reached this area, this target area. And of course, I haven't covered ZILLIQA before, but I'm still setting this target area here as the area where the price with a high probability is turning around, could turn around. I mean, this does not already need to be the move to new all-time highs. This could just be a temporary pump and we could come down once more. That risk is still very much there. But of course, I have to set the target area here, because that is how I would have set the area back in November, when I did set the target area for many altcoins between these Fibonacci levels. So I would have done, of course, the same for ZILLIQA as I've done for VeChain, for Chainlink, and so on. And all of these cryptos have reached their target area as well. This is, in a wave 2, usually the area where you do expect altcoins to turn around, and many other assets as well, like stocks and shares in a wave 2 in such a young market. So absolutely, the requirements for the completion of that correction, or at least for a pump, are given. Also, ABC correction, textbook like that wave C made a lower low compared to that wave A. Everything working together here. Plus then another very, very interesting factor we had here, obviously the catalyst. On the 2nd of April, there is this event in Miami around the Metapolis the Metapolis project, which is the metaverse of ZILLIQA. And there have been a lot of news recently about Metapolis as well, new partnerships, esports partnerships, and so on. So all of that fueling this pump as well. And it could be a bit of pump and dump, or certainly buying the rumors, selling the news before the 2nd of April. So you need to be very aware of that. I've seen it numerous times with hard forks, with events, that cryptos pumped before those events, and then when that event happens or after the event, you usually see the price decline. So don't think this is going to continue like that for weeks now. It might be in a few more days where we are going to see that. And then I think we are in for a retracement. We already saw a bit of a retracement today after the price moved all the way up to 40 or nearly 15 cents. Okay. So generally, what do we see here for ZILLIQA? We can see that ZILLIQA made here back in 2018 a wave 1. It then came down in a wave 2. We would now be in that, this is by the way a higher level one. We would now be in that wave 3. Within that wave 3, we've made our first wave 1, came down in a wave 2, and the next wave would be a wave 3 here in white. And where could that take us? That could take us at least to 41 cents. At least that would be the minimum target for that wave 3. From that point of view, even the current price is still very attractive, also in comparison to the all-time high. Yeah, we are still fairly low. We're still quite far away from the all-time high. Yeah, just so for everybody who FOMO'd in at 14 cents and is already annoyed and pissed off, from my point of view, we're still okay. Yes, we have moved up significantly. We are now overheated, so you're probably in for a retracement, but there's worse than buying at around 50% of the all-time high. Yeah, okay. So there are people who bought the all-time high, for example. So it can go up to 41 cents at the minimum. Yeah, but it could also go up to 50 or even 66 cents. The 2.618 FIB extension would also be a realistic level. If we take a look and zoom in, You can see that here on the daily chart, by the way, that we already moved all the way up to 14.5 cents, but we could not really hold in this range above that wave B. So this is a very important resistance level. You can see it here, the 0.5 FIB level at 12.9 cents. Found resistance here, found resistance here, found resistance here, found resistance here today, even though it peaked a little bit higher. Yeah. But still we dropped down quite significantly, which is a first sign that, yeah, you are it's getting a bit difficult here for the price, and that is confirmed by the RSI. I mean, if you are at around 91 on the RSI on the daily, that is significantly overbought. That is significantly overbought. You need to bring that down a little bit, which doesn't mean the prices couldn't go higher. But if we just take a look at what happened here the last time when we pumped back in November 2020, take a look at what it did. It did go also in an initial pump. It moved high here around nearly to 90 on the RSI. We then had a retracement, so I would expect something similar. Yeah, it could happen here, but maybe, I mean, it could hold that level for a couple of days or so. But then at the latest, after the 2nd of April, I would expect here that decline. Where you then bring the RSI down, maybe all the way down to 50, and then you can pump again, yeah, making a higher high. What you then do, you then already see your bearish divergence, yeah, so you know you're already getting here close to the end of that pump. You can pump again, another bearish divergence, and the price has more and more difficulties to push higher until you then really break down here and have a significant correction. Last attempt to push the price up, the RSI stays lower, and then you drop down. So this is really the first pump of all this. This could really go much higher. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. But we are significantly overbought. You now need to bring, in my opinion, that daily RSI down before you can pump further. You can do that by just moving sideways or by decreasing the price. Both options, it's certainly possible. We're not overbought yet on the you are overbought on the 4-day chart as well, but I think you're not overbought yet on the weekly. Let's go to the weekly. So on the weekly there is still much more upside potential, but yeah, that was a significant pump and a bit of a hype. So I'm also interested in ZILLIQA. I haven't invested in ZILLIQA, but I'm getting a bit careful when the RSI on the daily is at 90. So I think when that is correcting down, I'm going to get also some ZILLIQA, just because I found the project really interesting when I started to look more into it now. But I'm not willing to buy into such an overheated daily RSI. Absolutely not. So I'm gonna wait a little bit. So generally, in terms of resistance levels, what do we have here on the weekly here? We first of all, maybe we can see that on the weekly we've seen here now a bullish crossover on the MACD. Now that is bullish and that indicates further upside potential, but we need to bear in mind that on the daily we're just massively overbought, so there will be a little bit of a retracement coming. Okay, you already see it here with that long wick to the upside. And that wick, by the way, we had it here also. When you look at these pumps back in 2020 and 2021, when you moved higher, you always, before you retraced down, you had such a strong wick to the upside. Yeah, so it was still in an uptrend, but you then came down and did a bit of correction before you moved to the next pump. What else? Let's take a look at the stochastic RSI, because that would also confirm to me that more upside potential is possible. So look at the stochastic RSI, where it is today. It's only at 42, that blue line. And you really, you know, we even had, I mean, look at when we just started to pump down here back in end of 2020, where the stochastic RSI was, we were only down here. It then moved all the way to the top and we were only here. And when it then started to decline, that is when we climbed further. So we are only just starting to move up. So there is more upside potential there, absolutely in line with what I showed you on the Fibonacci extensions. And also what I want to show you is here the very interesting indicator that I showed you before a few times, is the Donchian channels, because they can also help us understand resistance levels, here where we are going to find resistance and support. So if we take here a look on the daily on this, let's take a look at the weekly. So the Donchian channel here, when you get close to that resistance here, and we broke into it, which is bullish, but they can also provide resistance. And then you've got this middle line here, which is currently around 8.99 cents. So I would imagine at the moment, because the stochastic RSI is pushing higher, that we could stay above this middle line here, possibly coming down to that level around, no, it's 9.5 cents, yeah. Possibly coming down to that level again, retesting it, but possibly now staying really in that upper half of that Donchian channel. We could even stay above that 61.8% fib level now that we broke the 9.9 cent level. So at the moment we are in an uptrend, absolutely. And on the 8-hour chart we can see that also here. Probably on the 8-hour chart is really good to see how we are now in this uptrend, staying in the upper half of the Donchian channel. So that is here at 9.3 cents on the 8-hour chart. But before that you have that 10 cent level, which is the 61.8% fib level. So really interesting what's going on here at the moment, bearing in mind that date on the 2nd of April. Really good to see that some of the altcoins are starting to pump. ZILLIQA, solid project. I really hope that Metaverse will be successful. I'm a friend of Metaverses, really excited about how this new technology will change the world. Yeah, there are obviously good and bad sides to it, but I think it's always important to stay sort of neutral and go with an open mind and take a look at this new technology. Certainly be aware of that volatility here in the market currently, and as always, nothing is going up in a straight line. There will always be retracements. Yeah, and if we go to the really maybe the 1 hour, you can see that what the price is doing here could really be a bit of a bull flag. What is not a good sign though is that we had this huge pump up and now we are moving sideways, but it could develop as a bullish flag. It's a bit too early to really say that. You can see on the 4-hour chart we're already losing here a little bit of positive momentum, and yeah, we are also overbought on the 4-hour chart. So my view is we need to bring it down a little bit, maybe really to that 10 cent level. That would be the next support. But generally, if you look at a longer term view of a price, what did I say, around 40 cents I think was the minimum, the 1.618 Fibonacci extension, in my opinion. With anybody who's got a longer view, it's probably not too late to get in, but bearing in mind, if you buy today, you're buying into a massively overheated market. In my view, the RSI needs to be brought down a little bit first. That's my view on ZILLIQA. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.